Toto, welcome back to Garden Club. Today we're going to talk about improving your soil in your garden, and I'm going to focus mostly on compost. So right now we're going to head on down to the beach because it's a beautiful day, and we're going to collect some seaweed for our garden. Right, it's down at Lyle Bay Beach. It's a beautiful sunny day, and as you can see there is seaweed all over the beach, which is great for our garden. So I've got my gloves on and I've got my old potting bag here, potting mix bag. So the best type of seaweed to collect is this stuff here. It's quite long, like long thin ribbons. It breaks down really fast and it's really fantastic food for the garden. So I'm going to fill up my bag, get on my bike, head home, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so we're back from the beach now. What I'm going to do is rinse off the salt and sand from my seaweed. So I'm going to do this on the lawn because I haven't got anywhere else to do it, and that's okay. I used to do it on the road so that the salt and sand would wash down the gutter. See? But this will be fine. So I'm going to just spread it out a little bit and grab the hose. Rinse off with the hose. Now I should have mentioned before that it's important, you can take seaweed from the beach, but it's important you don't take it from any marine reserves. Okay. I'll just let you know, I'm rinsing off the salt and sand because even though the garden loves to have seaweed, the salt and the sand is probably not the best. Seaweed has got a whole lot of really good minerals and nutrients in it that is really great for the plants, and if you feed it to your plants they'll grow really strong and healthy. So I'm going to add some of this seaweed to my compost, and I'll probably put some straight onto my garden around some of the plants that like a lot of food. Some people like to cut their seaweed up into bits before they put it on the garden, or if you have a lawnmower, you can run the lawnmower over the top and chop it into tiny bits, and it will help it break down a little bit faster. But I'm just going to put mine straight on, and because I've chosen this seaweed that's quite thin, it'll break down really quickly, like within a couple of days probably. There'll be little bits around, but the majority of it will break down fairly quickly. Okay, so I've given that a good rinse off, and I'll take you now to have a look at our compost. There are two main ways to improve the quality of your soil in your garden. You can add compost to the soil, and you can also add mulch, and mulch is really good for protecting the earth, stopping any weeds from growing, and protecting the earth from heavy rain and sun and the wind, stopping it from drying it out. And it also creates a really good habitat for little organisms and insects that live there, and they break down all the organic matter, and then that gets added to the soil and it just continually improves the soil structure. The other thing you can do is to add compost. So I'm standing here by my compost bin, and I've been collecting all my fruit and vegetable scraps. I always put them into a compost bucket in my kitchen, and then I bring it outside and I empty it into the compost bin. And I also put all of my weeds and things. So you come and have a look in my compost bin. It's pretty gross, but the garden loves it. So at the moment you can see there's all kinds of fruit and vegetable peelings and weeds and cardboard, paper, leaves and sticks. Pretty much anything that's organic, I'll put it into my compost bin. I'll show you, I've got this garden fork here. This is called a garden fork, and I'm going to use this to turn my compost over, because you should turn your compost over every now and then, just to mix everything up and get the air flow through. So I'm going to dig down hard and then lift it up. Oh, and you can see that there's lots and lots and lots of worms. You see all those red worms? They're called tiger worms. Tiger worms are the compost worms, and they're the ones who love eating all the compost and breaking it all down. and turning it into really rich soil. You can also see that there's lots of fruit flies flying around in the air, which is not so great, and there's probably going to be other insects in here as well, because I haven't got the balance very good in my compost at the moment. So I'm going to add some more brown materials to my compost, which will be some seaweed and some more cardboard. Just give it a bit of a turn, and by turning it and adding more brown materials, it'll improve the way it's breaking down as well, and it'll also less insects will be living in there. I've also got some pine needles, so I've given it a bit of a turn, and then I'm going to put my seaweed in, and I'll mix that up as well. And then I've got cardboard, so I'm going to just shred this, tear it into smaller bits, because the smaller the bits, the faster they'll break down. When you're adding paper and cardboard to compost and worm farms, this is probably alright, but I wouldn't go for things that are like glossy magazines. It's probably got a little bit too much ink when it's coated on both sides. I'm just going to tear some of that up and put it in there. The other thing I was going to say about seaweed, so I've added some straight to my garden, and I'm also putting some in my compost heap. The other thing you can do, some people do with seaweed, is make a liquid fertilizer out of it, and you can do that with weeds as well. And that's the way you do that, is you could put it into a bucket like this if you've got a lid for it, and if I was using seaweed, stuff it all the way full to the top, and then cover it with water and put the lid on, and then leave it for maybe a month or two, and it would turn into a rich seaweed tea. It might be quite stinky, but that's the kind of thing that you can use for plant food, to feed your plants. It's not going to improve your soil, but it will feed your plants, because of course you can buy all sorts of fertilizers and soil improvers at garden centres, but honestly most of the time you can find whatever you need in nature, and by using what we've got in nature, you're actually helping to clean up the planet too, because I'm reusing all these materials and cleaning up as I go and turning it into something that's really useful and beneficial for the garden. Can you just pause there? Okay, so I'm just going to give this a good turn over now and mix it all up, and then I'm going to let it sit for a while. I'll probably keep on adding my kitchen scraps on top, but in a month or two, probably in the springtime, this will be all broken down really well, and it'll be lovely rich thick soil, and I can take it out and add it to my garden beds. I'll just sprinkle it around on the top, and it will help the structure of the soil, and it feeds the plants and all the insects and everything in there, and it's a really great way to improve your soil. So that's all I'm going to show you for this video, so thanks for watching, and I'd love to see you in the Zoom next Thursday. It'd be great. Ka kite.